Isn't it a profound thought, though, that every single person carries this whole universe inside them, a secret world that even the people closest to us can't fully access.
It really is.
And today, we're actually going to explore exactly that territory within Charles Dickens's Great Expectations.
A fantastic choice. So much depth there.
We'll unpack these really intricate themes: identity, expectation, all those hidden realities Dickens is so good at weaving in. And we'll also draw on some great insights from Robert Douglas Fairhurst's analysis, too.
Yes, his work adds a lot of context.
And, for anyone looking to reflect even more after this, definitely check out Mindful Moments over on our YouTube channel. They've got some brilliant AI-powered book analysis there that really sparks critical thinking.
That sounds interesting. A good companion piece.
So thinking about Great Expectations, what hits you first is how much Dickens' own life is tangled up in the story, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's impossible to separate them. I mean, after his separation, that whole business of burning his letters, it's quite dramatic.
Speaks volumes, doesn't it? About wanting to erase the past.
It really does. And then that detail, the almost absurd image of his sons roasting onions in the ashes later.
Yeah. It's such a strange mix, isn't it? It's sort of solemn and yet every day.
Exactly. Finality and the mundane all mixed together.
It suggests a real deep struggle to deal with what happened. And Douglas Fairhurst points out that those ghosts from his childhood that lost innocence, well, they weren't so easy to get rid of.
No, apparently not. And returning to Chatham, his old hometown, seems to have stirred it all up again.
Which you see reflected so clearly in Pip's anxieties.
Definitely. Think about his absolute terror of Estella seeing him when he's all grimy from the forge, his grimiest and commonest self, as he puts it. That feeling connects directly back to Dickens's own deep shame about his time working at Warren's blacking warehouse as a boy. He never really got over that humiliation.
And he even puts that link right there in the book, doesn't he? When Joe visits Pip in London.
He does. Joe instinctively wants to go see the blacking warehouse. It's such a small detail, but it lands with this incredible personal weight.
Yeah, that feeling of shame, the wanting to be something more, it just fuels the whole idea of Great Expectations.
It really does. And Pip's ambition, it's not just personal. It really taps into that whole Victorian obsession with social climbing, with self-improvement.
Right, the kind of thing you see in books like Samuel Smiles' Self-Help. That was huge back then.
It was. And interestingly, the phrase itself, Great Expectations, actually pops up in Self-Help.
Oh, really? In what context?
Well, it's in a discussion about national aspirations, a nation's hopes for independence. It's kind of fascinating to think Dickens might have borrowed that idea and applied it to an individual's quest for a different kind of freedom.
That is interesting. And beyond that, the whole question of what it meant to be a gentleman was a really hot topic.
Oh, hugely debated. You had the traditional views, of course, but then figures like Smiles arguing that actually true gentility wasn't just about birth or money. It was about how you behaved, your character, an ongoing process.
And you see Pip just soaking up that societal pressure, especially after meeting Estella at Sada's house. He suddenly becomes so aware of his thick boots and his coarse hands.
Yeah, the things he never noticed before.
And it just ignites this desperate desire to change, to become someone he thinks Estella could actually approve of. It's quite painful, really, seeing how those outside expectations create such inner turmoil.
Yeah, it is, which sort of brings us back to where we started, that idea of hidden inner lives.
Right.
And Dickens gives us such a brilliant contrast with Wemmick between his very buttoned-up work persona in the city.
Mr. Jagger's clerk, all business.
Exactly. And then his private life out in Walworth at his castle.
Ah, the castle with the drawbridge and the cannon. It's wonderful.
It really is. It's like this little haven, a completely different world where he can be, well, open-hearted and sympathetic.
A true sanctuary. But, even there, in that little fortress of personality, there are still these echoes of the outside world, maybe secrets, like him firing his little cannon every evening.
St. George's gun, yes. And what's so clever about that seemingly random ritual, is how it might subtly connect to Pip's own subconscious fears. It kind of echoes the warning shots from the prison hulks back when Magwitch escaped from the marshes.
Oh, wow. I hadn't quite made that connection. So even in his safe space, there's this undercurrent.
Exactly. It shows how even the ordinary bits of life can be tinged with these deeper, unspoken anxieties, these links to big events.
And it's not just those big dramatic secrets, is it? The book is also full of the secrets we maybe even keep from ourselves. The hidden stuff beneath the surface of everyday city life.
Definitely. And you see the flip side of that secrecy in the, the unexpected kindness Pip finds, especially from people lower down the social ladder.
Like Joe. Yeah, Joe.
Joe, absolutely. His quiet dignity when he comes to visit Pip in London, even when Pip is, frankly, being a bit of a snob. It's incredibly powerful.
It really is. That contrast is crucial, isn't it? Joe's loyalty, his basic goodness,
Stands in such stark opposition to the coldness, the manipulation you often see from people supposedly above him. It really hammers home Dickens' point that, real gentlemanly qualities have nothing necessarily to do with riches and rank.
Exactly. It's about the core human stuff. Honesty, truthfulness, self-respect. That's what makes a real gentleman in Dickens's world.
And Joe just embodies that, doesn't he? He supports Pip unconditionally, even when Pip treats him pretty badly.
He does. And then you get someone like Pumblechook.
Pumblechook.
Who just shamelessly tries to glom onto Pip's good fortune, taking all the credit.
He's the perfect example of that empty, superficial social climbing. All surface, no substance.
So as Pip goes through all this, his own views start to shift.
Yeah.
Especially about Magwitch.
Oh, that's a huge transformation. From that initial terror and, frankly, disgust.
Yeah, real revulsion.
To this gradual understanding and then real loyalty once he figures out what Magwitch actually did for him, the sacrifices he made.
And that moment, Pip realizes Magwitch is actually a much better man than he has been to Joe. That's the turning point.
A huge one. It forces him to reevaluate everything he thought he knew about status and worth.
And even with Estella, there's a kind of evolution, isn't there? It's subtle, but in that final meeting.
The ending. Always debated, but yes. There's that softening in her once proud eyes, the touch of her once insensible hand.
It suggests maybe, just maybe, her own hard life has changed her too. That there's potential for a real connection, finally.
Yeah, it hints that even those deeply ingrained expectations, those emotional walls, can maybe be broken down by life, by shared experience.
So really, when you boil it down, Great Expectations is just this incredibly rich exploration of class, how misleading our dreams can be, why inner character matters so much.
And the surprising ways people connect, often hidden right under the surface.
It definitely makes you think about how all those pressures, social structures, personal ambitions shape who we are and how we relate to each other.
Absolutely. And how true value isn't about what you have, but who you are. You can explore these themes even more on our podcasts. We often get into literary analysis like this.
That's right. And we really hope this discussion prompts you to think about your own life. How do expectations, yours and others, and those hidden parts of yourself and the people around you, affect your world?
It's a worthwhile reflection.
Definitely. So, to keep exploring ideas like these, please do subscribe to our podcasts for more discussions. Share this with someone you think might find it interesting.
And if you want to dive really deep into the specific narrative, consider getting the book using the link we've provided.
Yes, absolutely. And above all, just keep thinking critically about the stories we tell and how they shape our understanding of, well, everything.